We all want to be strong, and we all want to live a long, healthy life. But what if the very thing you're doing to build muscle could actually be taking years off your life? Today, we're diving deep into that exact dilemma, a hidden conflict between strength and longevity that's happening inside your body right now.
I mean, think about it. It's a pretty confronting question, right? You're in the gym, you're tracking your protein, you feel fantastic. But deep down, inside your cells, there might be a trade-off happening. That pursuit of peak physical strength, could it be putting you on the biological fast track? Well, let's figure out how to solve this.
All right, so here's our game plan. First, we'll break down the paradox itself. Then we'll look at the hard data behind this trade-off. After that, we'll lay out a specific science-backed protocol to solve it. Introduce the most critical tool for measurement, your biological speedometer. And finally, show you exactly how to run this experiment on yourself.
Okay, first things first, let's define this fundamental conflict. You can think of it like a biological tug-of-war happening inside your body every single day. And guess what's in the middle of it all? Protein. So here's the deal, and this slide really breaks it down. On one side, you've got this pathway called mTOR. Just think of it as the master on switch for muscle growth. You eat protein, especially the amino acid leucine, and boom, that switch gets flipped on. But on the other side, you have something called autophagy. This is your body's cellular cleanup crew. It recycles old, junky parts. And here's the problem. When mTOR is always on, the cleanup crew gets shut down. All that cellular junk starts to pile up, and that is a huge driver of aging. So more growth can literally mean less cleanup.
And look, this isn't just some abstract theory. There's hard data suggesting this trade-off has some pretty serious consequences, especially as we get into middle age. Let's take a look at the research.
75%. Just look at that number for a second. That's a number that should make anyone, pause and really pay attention. But what does it mean? Well, it represents the potential cost of getting this protein equation wrong. So this comes from a huge study led by Dr. Longo. Now, to be clear, it's an observational study, which means it shows a powerful link, not necessarily direct cause and effect. But the findings were just staggering. They followed thousands of adults, and for those between 50 and 65, a high-protein diet was linked to a 75% increased risk of dying from any cause over the next 18 years. And here's the conclusion, right from the researchers themselves. Their work suggests that for this specific age group, going lower on protein could be a key strategy for a longer, healthier life. So this leaves us with a massive problem, right? We need protein for muscle, but the data suggests too much could be aging us faster. So what's the solution? Well, this brings us to the solution, and it's not about avoiding protein. It's about being strategic. It's about figuring out how to get that muscle-building signal without keeping the growth switch stuck in the on position all day long.
How do we get the best of both worlds, right? We want those periods of growth, but we also need those long periods for repair and cleanup. Thankfully, some very smart researchers have looked into this exact question, and the answer seems to lie in timing.
So in this one study, scientists took a group of trained guys and had them all consume 80 grams of protein over a 12-hour window after a workout. But they split them up. One group, the bolus group, took 2 huge 40-gram shakes. The intermediate group took 4 20-gram shakes. And the pulse group took 8 tiny 10-gram doses. They wanted to see which pattern actually built the most muscle. And the results? I mean, they were crystal clear. The intermediate strategy, that's the 20 grams of protein every 3 hours, it was the undisputed winner. It stimulated way more muscle growth over that 12-hour period than either the 2 giant doses or the 8 tiny doses.
So the takeaway here is pretty simple. This strategy gives you that perfect anabolic signal. You trigger muscle growth, but, and this is the important part, the signal then fades away. This allows your body to switch back into that critical cleanup and repair mode. This timing, this is the first huge piece of the puzzle.
But listen, a protocol is only half the battle. How do you actually know if this strategy is working to slow down your aging? How can you be sure you're not still paying that longevity price? And this, right here, is the most important part of this whole thing. You can feel stronger. You can look better in the mirror, but you absolutely 100% cannot feel your rate of cellular aging. It's impossible. How you feel is useless here. If you're serious about this, you need cold, hard data. So how do we get that data? Enter DunedinPACE. Now, this isn't science fiction. This is a real cutting-edge epigenetic test. The best way to think about it is like a speedometer for your biology.
It doesn't tell you your biological age. Instead, it tells you how fast you are aging right now. For every calendar year that goes by, is your body aging 0.8 years, 1.0 years, or a pretty dangerous 1.2 years? That is the number that really matters.
And look, I know what you're thinking, is this legit? And the answer is yes, absolutely. This algorithm was built by tracking the health of over 1,000 people, from birth all the way into their 40s. It has incredible reliability, which means the measurement is really stable. And most importantly, a faster score on this test is a powerful predictor of future health problems. This is our proof.
Okay, we have the problem, we have the protocol, and we have the speedometer. Now it's time to put it all together. It's time to run your own N-of-1 personal experiment.
Because this is the question you have to answer for yourself. If you're eating a ton of protein to build muscle, but your DunedinPACE score is climbing, then you are, by definition, trading your longevity for mass. This experiment is how you find out if you're making that trade and how to fix it if you are. So here's the entire protocol, step by step. 1, figure out your protein target. 2, eat that protein in distinct pulses inside a shorter eating window. 3, make sure at least one of those meals, probably your post-workout one, hits that key leucine threshold. 4, give your body a nice, long 16-plus hour fast every day for that cleanup. And then, the most important steps, 5 and 6. Get your baseline DunedinPACE score, follow this protocol for 90 days, and then test again.
This is how you read the results of your experiment. It's pretty much pass-fail. If your speedometer is going up, your strategy isn't working for longevity, and you need to make a change. But if that number is stable, or even better, if it's starting to drop, you found it. You're successfully building muscle without speeding up your aging. You are in the Goldilocks zone.
And really, it all comes down to this. Our job here is to lay out the science and give you a protocol based on the evidence. That's our part. Your part is to get the proof for yourself. And the only way to get that proof is by using a validated test, your laboratory speedometer, to measure your actual pace of aging. So we'll end with this thought. For the first time in human history, we can actually measure our pace of aging instead of just guessing. The question is no longer just, what should I be doing? But is what I'm doing actually working? Your body has a speedometer. It's time to check it.